Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Mo aka Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today I'm here with Bunnahabhain 18. This little sample here is from a tasting set that I have with some different Bunnahabhains, and I will be reviewing them coming up soon. First of all, of course, a massive thank you to a wonderful supporter of this channel who gifted me this set. I am really excited to try them because I haven't tried this 18 in a while, and I know the 25 will be coming up soon. I have of course done a Bunnahabhain comparison before, so if you're curious about that one, it's the Tochikaga and the 12-year-old, then check that out. But yeah, today we're going to try the 18, and thank you to the Patreons who decided that I'm going to be reviewing these different expressions individually first, and then I'm going to do a comparison. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe and like this video so I know that you want to see them. But yeah, we're going to try this and see what we think. So this is of course from Bunnahabhain, a distillery on Islay that focuses a lot on making unpeated whiskey, which is not really the norm on Islay, as most of them tend to be peated. This sits at 46.3. It's unchill filtered and natural colour, something they swapped to a few years back, much to a lot of whiskey enthusiasts' kind of joy, which is, yeah, a good move I think. I mean, I still think Bunnahabhain is one of the distilleries that I'm always so keen on keeping a close eye on because they make some lovely amber liquid there. But let's have a look on the nose. Yes, good. It's like leather and honey, and Bunnahabhain for me is this kind of silky, toffee, red apple, leather, honey all coming together and just creating this kind of silky stream of amber. It's I mean, it's a lovely nose. I know there's a lot of people that have Bunnahabhain 18 maybe as their favourite whiskey, and I can definitely see why. It's, I mean, the 12, also lovely. It's going to be so interesting to compare them. I think the one we will be comparing is the Sturadur, the Tochikaga, the 12, 18 and 25. Yeah, it's yeah, that kind of toffee note comes through. It's slightly sweet, but it's just very silky. Like, it just has this kind of thing that just rounds everything off together, and it's the same kind of aromas that I remember from the 12. Maybe a bit of a nuttiness, like an almondy vibe as well, like quite a smooth, like maybe roasted almonds. Yeah, like Christmas time almonds. But let's have a little sip. Sláinte Skål. At first sip, it's slightly spicier than I would have anticipated, but in a coastal way, like a herby coastal way. Because it has a bit of a grassy bitterness to it on the middle of my tongue at the moment, and it's surrounded by an oakiness that is almost like a leathery oakiness. And then it has this, right now I'm having this flavour memory of a sweetness, but it's a thinner sweetness than toffee, I would say. So it's more almost like just a tiny dash of white sugar. Now on the nose as well, it just has a bit of a more coastal vibe, and I want to describe that in a better way, but it's like this cold coastal wind. So I guess a little bit of saltiness, and maybe that kind of salty vegetal notes without being overly vegetal, more. So I think when you're at the seaside or at a coastline or just near the ocean, you can get the scent of the sea, but you can also get the sense of like everything around it that is covered in like this salty vibe. So even though you might not be able to smell salt, you can smell this vibe of the ocean, something that you recognize as the ocean, which might be that the saltiness is stuck in the vegetation that grows around it, the sand, everything like that. So I think it's not vegetal, but I think it's just this coastalness. Quite a dry coastalness, if that makes sense, because yeah, obviously I can't smell salt, but yeah. But I would say it's more toffee on the nose than it is on the palate. But let's have a sip and see if I change my mind. No, I would say there's a thinner, oh, my nose started to itch. A thinner sweetness than toffee. So more like white sugar, I would say. Not quite honey either, it's more this clean sweetness, if that makes sense. Yeah, the leathery oakiness is there, but I wouldn't say it tastes overly sherried, but it does have this kind of almost density to it that makes you think that it would have been a sherry influence in there just to change kind of the texture. But it's coastal, leather, woody, red apples, white sugar sweetness, all coming together. The spices are more, like they're quite drying. I'm not saying it's a dry dram, but it does have a dry element of the spices. And the spices are almost more powerful than I would have anticipated from an 18-year-old. Which I think a lot of people might like, because it just makes it quite alive and quite big in its flavour. And because I think the spices kind of cling to your palate, which makes you also taste them longer, because like they're still going. And I think a lot of people might appreciate that, because they do want it to taste quite a lot. That's kind of the Western palate. It does like a lot of flavour, which is why a lot of people like a sherry influenced whiskey. But yeah, it has lovely flavours. Just slightly too spicy. At least for my own palate. From memory, I don't know, but I think I'd almost say I prefer the 12. But it's going to be interesting to try them next to each other, of course, just to see if I will stick by that or not. Maybe let's add a dash of water just to see what happens. I usually wouldn't add a lot of water to 46 because I do think most of the ones I've tried sit quite nicely there, but just want to see if something happens to the spice. More golden on the nose. More of that toffee note I think comes out. Yeah, it's more golden. A little bit less spice. Almost a little bit more honeydew melon, I would say. Yeah, I think I just need a little bit of dash of water in this for my personal preference. I mean, everything I say in these videos are based on my own personal preference, and yeah, I think for me personally, a little dash of water just to tone down the spices. But also, of course, I love that you have the option to do this yourself. Maybe one day I'm like, oh, I really want a spicy whiskey, then I know, I wouldn't say it's really spicy, but it does have a spicy element to it. So then I know I could go for the Bunnahabhain 18. But yeah, just a little dash of water. Sometimes that's just the key to changing it slightly to your own preference, which is why it's good when whiskies sit at a little bit higher ABV for those of us who might know what we like, or might like adding water in our own pace. So yeah, that's what I would say, I think. But I would of course love to hear your thoughts. I'm sure there's a lot of you that have tried the Bunnahabhain 18, or perhaps you have another favourite Bunnahabhain. Please let me know which one it is in the comment section here below. And of course, I would be absolutely over the moon if you consider using my affiliate links with either Master Malt, the Whisky Exchange, or the Scotch Malt Whisky Society the next time you're shopping with them, if you would like to support this channel as well. As always, a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. I'm so grateful you guys want to continue to support me on my whisky journey. And if you're curious about a little bit more behind the scenes content and some polls and exclusive content, then check that out. So that is in the little section here below as well. But I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful day. Sláinte Skål.